Bloodborne is one of my favorite games of all time, and if you're a Souls fan, you already know why. The atmosphere, the fast-paced combat, the unforgettable bosses. Even after more than a decade, Bloodborne still feels unique. But here's the frustrating part. Despite years of fan requests, petitions, and endless rumors, Sony still hasn't given us a Bloodborne remaster, a remake, or even a PC port. Instead, we're getting a Bloodborne movie. That's cool, don't get me wrong, but let's be honest, is that really what fans have been asking for? Well, something interesting just happened. A former PlayStation executive has finally spoken about Bloodborne's future, and what he said makes the whole situation even more confusing. So let's talk about it. Bloodborne launched back in 2015 and quickly became one of the highest-rated PlayStation exclusives ever made. Even today, many fans consider it From Software's greatest game, sometimes even better than Elden Ring or Dark Souls. Yet somehow, it's still locked to the PlayStation 4. No PS5 version, no 60fps update, no remaster, no remake, no PC port. For a game this beloved, that's honestly hard to believe. Over the years, we've heard countless rumors. Some insiders claimed a remake was in development. Others said a PC version was coming. Every few months, another rumor would appear, and every single time, nothing happened. The closest we've ever come to a remake was learning that Bluepoint Games reportedly pitched the idea to Sony. If that name sounds familiar, Bluepoint is the studio behind the incredible Demon's Souls remake for the PlayStation 5. They proved they know how to modernize a classic while staying faithful to the original. So naturally, fans thought they would be the perfect team for Bloodborne. Unfortunately, that project never moved forward, and since then, complete silence. Now here's where things get interesting. Former PlayStation boss Shuhei Yoshida recently spoke about Bloodborne during a keynote interview. For those who don't know, Yoshida isn't just another former executive. He joined Sony back in 1986 and was one of the founding members of the original PlayStation project. Over the decades, he helped produce iconic games like Gran Turismo and Ape Escape, eventually becoming president of Sony Interactive Entertainment Worldwide Studios. He spent nearly 40 years at PlayStation before officially leaving the company in January 2025. So when someone like Yoshida talks about Bloodborne, people pay attention. During the interview, Yoshida acknowledged exactly what fans have been saying for years. He said Bloodborne has fans all around the world, yet it still doesn't have a PlayStation 5 version. Then he pointed out something we've all noticed. Sony has released remake after remake and remaster after remaster over the last few years, but Bloodborne has been completely ignored. He even mentioned that the game isn't available on PC either, and then came the most surprising part. Yoshida admitted that people constantly ask him why there still isn't a Bloodborne remaster. His answer, he said, "Oh, it remains a mystery. That's it." Even someone who spent decades inside PlayStation doesn't seem to know why Sony hasn't done anything with Bloodborne. He also added that a remaster might happen in the future, or it might not. The same goes for a sequel. It might happen, or it might never happen. Not exactly the answer fans were hoping for. And honestly, this is the part I just don't understand. Sony clearly knows how valuable remakes can be. We've seen remasters and remakes for games that are much newer than Bloodborne. We've gotten multiple versions of The Last of Us. We've seen Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered. We've seen Demon's Souls Remake. One of PlayStation's most requested games is still stuck on the PS4. Bloodborne feels like a guaranteed success. Imagine a full PS5 version running at native 4K and 60 FPS with improved textures, faster loading times, DualSense support, and maybe even some restored content that never made it into the original game. Now imagine releasing that on PC as well. It would probably sell millions of copies. That's why so many fans call Bloodborne Sony's sleeping giant. The demand has never gone away. If anything, it's grown stronger every year. Every PlayStation showcase, every state of play, every major gaming event, fans spam the chat with one word: Bloodborne. At this point, it's become one of gaming's biggest mysteries. So what do you think? Why do you think Sony still hasn't touched Bloodborne after all these years? Do you think there's actually a remake being developed behind the scenes? Or has Sony simply decided to move on? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss future gaming news and From Software updates. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.